Do, man.
What's that supposed to mean? I need to work out.
That's how you tuck. That's how you tuck your chin. When you ain't got the money, that's how you tuck your chin.
What? You work out?
Yeah. Suck that thing.
When do I have time to work out?
Dude, you got time to work out? Dude, when do I have time to work out? I get up, I get my tail up, and I go work out.
I don't know.
You go work out when the kids go to bed at 10 o'clock at night. You work out for 30 minutes. You come home, you get a shower, you make love, you go to bed. That's what you do.
Yeah, look, every day that they see me, they like, what's up, dude? I tell them not much, but we know it's not true. Got a to-do list that every day I gotta run through. I don't want to small talk about it, let the work talk for me, go. I don't tell nobody about my secrets. Keep it to myself, cause nowadays they wanna leak it. I don't even share it with my family as of recent. Not cause I don't trust them, I would rather let them see it for themselves. I got insecurities, I don't wear them on my sleeve, so you know I gotta keep them on the shelf. Like awards I don't have yet. And every second that I wasted talking about it is a second I can have back. Look, I don't wanna tell them everything I'm gonna do. I would rather show them everything that I achieved. I don't want to tell them that I got it with no proof. I would rather show them the receipts. I find it funny how they say you gotta talk less and do more when I rap.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Real Capital Podcast. I'm your host, Jared Halsey. With me in the studio, I have Devin Wilcox, a.k.a. the reason that you enjoy or don't enjoy watching these videos, because he either does a good job or a bad job.
What do I do most of the time?
Just putting that pressure on you. Comment down below if you think Devin. Watch this video, like, subscribe, and comment, or don't do any of it if you think Devin does a bad job.
But definitely tell me if you think I'm doing a bad job.
That way, if we cover it all. Look, I've got notes today. We're going to be very professional. We're going to act like we know what we're doing. Everything's going to feel... It's going to flow. It's going to be real flowy. It's going to feel good. All right, we're kind of getting into this.
And if it doesn't, then I'll just edit it.
Look, I've had my wife, I've had Devin, and probably other people that I can't remember tell me, like, look, we need to get set on one thing that we're talking about. And I said, no. There's two things that I really enjoy talking about. I enjoy talking about politics. I enjoy talking about real estate, business, all that. I put that in one category, but it's a bunch of stuff. Just that whole business investment thing. So we're just going to keep talking about all that crap. I'm not going to, we'll cut things. And so if you just want to watch, the business or the investment or the politics, you can go search out that video. And that's fine. That's up to you. But as for me, I want to do all of this stuff. I want to talk about what's going on in politics, what's going on in the world. I want to talk about real estate. I want to talk about, this podcast specifically. We're going to talk about a couple of things. And we're going to talk about how to start a business. And then I'm going to do a video about how I started, me and my father started Smash Mouth Foods, food trailer. If you're interested in starting a food trailer, I'm sure there are some similar things as far as how to start a restaurant and stuff like that. In either case, let's jump right in this, because I said that I was going to flow. We're going to have hard cuts where it's like, we're done talking about that subject. It helps me to talk through all this. If you don't like me talking through all this rambling stuff, you double click the side and you can skip 10 seconds ahead until we're done with the rambling part. But I was talking to Devin. He did not see this report that came out. He heard the things that people said about it, but I wanted to read a little bit. So we had special counsel Robert Hur. He came out, finished his report as far as Joe Biden's handling of classified documents. So Joe Biden obviously found him in a box at his personal home next to his Corvette. I don't know why that is always the thing. It's next to his Corvette. Everybody puts that in there. It's in the picture, and it's just like, why does that matter? It's not relevant. I even made the mistake the other day of thinking that the box was in the Corvette because everybody's made the Corvette such a thing. It's a beautiful car. It's like it's a nice Corvette. Not that he should be driving at all now anymore, especially after this report came out. So we'll just read a little bit about it. Special counsel Robert Hur will not recommend criminal charges against President Biden for mishandling classified documents, according to his report, after a months-long investigation into the president's alleged improper retention of classified records. Hur has been investigating Biden improper retention of classified records. Since last year, those records included classified documents about military and foreign policy in Afghanistan, among other records related to national security and foreign policy, which Herr said implicated sensitive intelligence sources and methods. We conclude that no criminal charges are warranted in this matter, the report states. We would reach the same conclusion even if the Department of Justice policy did not foreclose criminal charges against a sitting president. We have also considered that at trial, this is funny, Mr. Biden would likely present himself to a jury, as he did during our interviews of him, as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory, Herr wrote in a report. That's pretty tough.
Yeah.
That's pretty brutal. And, you know, I've heard a bunch of people's commentary on this. Obviously, I listen to like 3 podcasts a day, most days. I have for years. But the thing about it is they knew that they weren't going to get a conviction. They knew this wasn't going to go to trial regardless.
Right.
I think, I heard Dan Bongino talk about this. I think that Herr knew that. Robert knew that. I think he's a judge. Judge Robert, which sounds like the Supreme Court justice. Judge Herr, which also doesn't sound right either. But he's an Asian fella. So that's probably like a family name. Herr, H-U-R. Mr. Special Counsel, we'll call him that. I think there was probably a conversation behind closed doors where it was, you're not going to charge. You're not going to charge, Mr. President. It's not going to happen.
Right.
We're not bringing this to trial. I don't care what, so your report better not say, I recommend
but
charges.
So why, the big question is about all that is, for me, is why portray our commander-in-chief as they just did when war is like imminent as we are right now. Like everything's going. Like they portrayed Biden, well, as the way that he is, obviously, but
they have to. I would rather us be able to talk frankly. Our government be able to just be upfront and frank. Listen. So the president is dealing with a few things.
Right.
You could say it's early onset dementia, and you could say, okay, so we've taken steps, and I'm sure they have. Like, in all honesty, like, I'm sure his finger isn't on the nuclear trigger. Like, I'm not this conspiracy. Like, oh yeah, Biden. We have a man who can't remember anything, and we'll go into what he can't remember here in a second, but. We have him talking to government leaders and stuff like that. And we'll get to this story, but jumping forward to Tucker's interview with Vladimir Putin, Tucker asked him, when's the last time you spoke to Biden? And it was over a year ago.
Yeah.
It was over a year ago when he had that conversation. So I don't think we knew for years now that we didn't believe that Biden was running the White House. Now we know pretty much for sure he's incapable of it. And so he's not. And so what's happening is you have government officials, non-elected government officials that have been appointed by people running our country, which is probably why the border is so awful. I don't think Biden knows what he's doing. I don't think he's ever known what he's doing. The border is just insane. I heard, that sheriff came out and he said there was a sheriff in Ohio. We'll talk about that story. I'm trying, man. I'm trying to stay on point. I'm trying to stay on point, but they all just.
Well, they intertwine together. I mean, they all come back to Biden. Every one of our things do, don't they?
Well, I mean, just talking about the border, I mean, he was saying that their border in Ohio to Canada is just, you've got drugs and crap coming, because we've taken so much resources and took them to the southern border. For what? I don't know. Just to process. We're bringing all these people down there just to process folks as they walk right in the border. And that we're just trying not to let them walk through without at least shaking their hand and saying, welcome to America.
Yeah.
We should send some Canadians down there. They do a great job of that. They're known for being friendly. Like, oh, yeah, how's it going?
You do that pretty good.
Yeah. Thank you for coming to America.
You watch a lot of Letterkenny?
I have no clue who that is.
You don't know who Letter
No,
King
no,
is?
no. There's very
Oh,
few
my
voices that I can do. I can do a little bit of Australian, but I can't do all
You
every.
probably would have offended
You know, like, oh
Australians.
no,
That's
you can't come over the border. That's pretty good. But anyways,
if there's any Australians,
so
I'll
now
tell you
our
that.
northern border is doing without.
Right.
So that the southern border can just process, and we need to send AAs back to wherever they came from, most especially if you're not from the Americas.
Yeah.
Okay, because we're the Americas here. You've got South America, Central America, North America. Okay, and we're all one continent. You know, they get wider as you go up, they get darker as you go down. Okay, but we're all one kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we take care of our own at least. At least I could say some Guatemalans, you know, are from the same kind of continent, you know, because they are. I think, unless they're an island. I don't think so. I haven't looked at it. My point is that there's no freaking reason Chinese nationals, you know, Middle Easterners are coming through our freaking southern border. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We're talking about Biden here, and I'm going to keep it that way. We're going to get to some of that other stuff. But the point is that a special counsel knew he wasn't going to get a conviction. He knew for sure, for whatever reason, I believe there was a conversation that was had, but he knew he wasn't going to get a conviction. So he said, you know what? If I can't say that you know, I recommend he be prosecuted, then I'm going to say he's crazy.
Right.
I'm going to say he's lost his mind. Then I'm going to win. And he did. And that's exactly what he did. He came out and he said that he would present himself to the jury, as he did during our interviews of him, as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. That is a straight quote. That's a quote from the report.
I pulled it up on here. That's the first thing I seen.
And so he wrote the report, based on our direct interactions with and observations of him being the president, he is someone from whom many jurors will want to identify reasonable doubt. It would be difficult to convince a jury that they should convict him, by then a former president well into his 80s, of a serious felony that requires a mental state of willfulness. But Burr said in his investigation uncovered evidence that President Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified material after his vice presidency when he was a private citizen. So he said that basically he did do exactly what he was accused of.
Right.
Absolutely, it was illegal, but like you can't blame him because like he's just an old dude, like, you know.
What's it going to do to,
So the materials included marked classified documents about military and foreign policy in Afghanistan and notebooks containing Mr. Biden's handwriting entries about issues of national security and foreign policy implicating sensitive intelligence sources and methods. And the worst part about it is when they interviewed him, you can go look at all this stuff, he did not remember when his son Beau died.
Wow.
He didn't remember when they asked him about 2013 or whatever. He's like, was I still vice president then? Huh? What? You got a hard candy? You know? I don't know if he said that last part, but he didn't know his son Beau. He didn't know when his son Beau died. He didn't know when he was vice president. They asked him back in 2000, like it was a question about 2014 or 17 again, and he's like, was that before or after I became vice president? Huh? I want some ice cream. I want to sniff a kid. You know? It's direct quotes, obviously. So, you know, basically what we have here is we have confirmed, we have a sitting United States president with confirmed, basically, dementia, not remembering or knowing huge events in his life, who we are throwing out there and parroting this, you know, puppet of a man who needs to be at home. He needs to be with his family these last years of his life. He needs to take care of his affairs and get everything in order because, you know, he's at the end here, okay? Yeah. I mean, all it would take is an unlocked front door, and we may never see him again. You know? Think about that. You don't know where he is. You just leave the door open while you're bringing the groceries in. Secret Service is bringing the groceries in, and he's like, oh, it's a bird. A little birdie. I'm going to follow it. And there he goes, just shuffling just
Tripping.
shuffling out into the woods.
Could be gone.
Gone. So, anyways, that's dangerous. That's awful. So, hard cut. We're going to go talk about Tucker. So, when we talk about Tucker, I watched the entire interview, a little over 2 hours, 2 hours, 7 minutes, something like that. Watched it on X, formerly Twitter. What happens now if you tweet? It's not a tweet. What is it, an X?
It's a target. I don't know.
No, it's an X. Like, it's X, so what do they call them? I don't even know. I've got a tweeter, an X.
Twitter.
Yeah, I told my wife. My wife does not have it. I told my wife whenever it changed over, I'm like, look, I got this app on my phone and it's just X, like it's Twitter. Don't think anything like because it looks,
It's
you think
conspicuous,
X,
right?
yeah. You think what is that on my husband's phone?
Yeah.
It's just Twitter, formerly Twitter. So Tucker did an amazing interview, I thought, and looked at. The entire time, looked at Mr. Vladimir Putin with the face that only Tucker can make. The entire time.
I wish I'd watched it. I haven't got to watch it yet.
It's a great interview. So obviously you got to be fairly careful. But Tucker was pretty pitbull. He interrupted him several times. I recommend you go to Twitter, go to tuckercarlson.com, check it out.
Sure.
It is definitely worth watching. He goes through a whole history. Basically, from what I can understand, if you believe what Vladimir Putin's saying, is that, not the entirety of Ukraine, but there are portions of Ukraine that have historically been Russia, are Russia.
Right.
The citizens claim to be Russian. And basically what he goes to say is like, it was 2014, Ukraine started attacking the Donbass region. Yeah.
Can you spell that?
Yeah. I think it's in there, not a DUNMBASS. I'm guessing. I don't know. Point is that basically Ukraine started broke the Minsk agreement, refused to do that. I hadn't looked into what the Minsk agreement was. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm giving a rundown of this. And then they basically started attacking over in the Donbass region, which was a sovereign part of Ukraine. Basically, those people were Russian and just wanted to be separate. And so Russia was like, well, we're going to fight back. And they did. And then you got Biden, when he gets in office, saying that we're going to open the doors for Ukraine to come into NATO, which they've already that treaty like 5 times where they said we're not going to add any more countries to NATO. They've done it time and time and time again, and Russia has went with it. And honestly, I can't blame him for being pissed about it. I don't know if I would have went straight to war. But if you talk to him, he's basically the United States won't talk to him anymore. And that's something that Trump always did. He treated every single leader, no matter how good, no matter how bad, he treated them with the respect that the leader of a nation should have. And, he would have open dialogue, open conversation. We don't have that anymore. And you had so many people in the media sit here and say, well, we don't think Tucker should go over there and talk to, but we don't need to give this guy a platform, this evil dictator. And that's just not right. That's not what America's about. We're about open conversation, good, bad, indifferent. And we need those conversations. We need to know why Vladimir Putin did what he did. We need to know why, more than just why we did what we did. We know why Ukraine does what Ukraine does.
Well, especially if we're getting involved with it.
If we're going to give, what is it?
Involved,
$218
million.
No, I thought it was $200 something billion that we've given to him over since the start.
Yeah, well, I'm just talking about here recently, $118 billion that's set as a border budget, whatever. That 60,000. So, $60 billion of that's going over there.
So my thing is, screw it. My opinion is, screw it.
It's Donbass, by the way.
Donbass.
DONBAS. And the Minsk agreements were a series of international agreements.
Yeah.
That were to end the war fought between Russia, the separatist groups, and the armed forces of Ukraine.
Yeah.
With the Russian regular forces playing a big part in that. But so they've had and I think that's back from, I think it was signed in 5th of September 2014. But I guess it expired in February of 2022.
Yeah.
So,
well, in my opinion, I don't give a piss. I don't give a piss what they do over there. I don't give a piss what they do in the Middle East.
with their money.
Yeah, whatever they want to do, whatever. We should not be involved in nation building. We should not be the police of the world. We should not be involved in these conflicts over there if they're not going to directly affect us. And to be honest with you, when it comes to, you have America, you have China, you have Russia, three of the largest countries, three of the largest militaries, the most, the greatest economies. We should be friends. We should have an open conversation right now with Xi Jinping of China and Vladimir Putin of Russia. We should be talking. We should be buddying up. The Russian leaders should be over here in America, sitting down as often as possible, having meals and discussing things, building relationships and friendships. Because here's the thing, is they're going to be there. It's not like you find somebody in your local town that you don't like and you say, well, I'm just never going to go have lunch or supper with that person ever again. I don't like them. That's fine. You can do that. But if you're countries and you're trading and there's potentials for war and conflict, you have to keep open dialogue. So it's stupid to me to think that we don't have that our president hasn't spoken to the president of Russia in over a year. That's makes no sense. Yep. Moving on to the next topic. The sheriff had their annual meeting with in Washington. There were 300 and something sheriffs present.
3,300.
No, there's 3,300 sheriffs total, but there was like 300 present.
Oh, really?
At the meeting.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
It's what the Butler County Ohio sheriff, said in his press conference.
Mr. Jones.
Yeah, Mr. Jones. You watched it? They wear cowboy hats in Ohio. Undoubtedly, he did.
I think sheriffs, like when you think of sheriffs, anyways, you
just think of a cowboy hat,
stuff like that. Yeah. State troopers have their, well, they call them something else, and they get very
talk
offended.
About state police. I don't believe that there should be a state police. I don't think state troopers are bad. I don't believe there should be a state police because there is a such thing called a police state, and they had that in Nazi Germany and other places in the world where the state controls the police. I don't like that. I think that is very important who
municipality by municipality.
I think that is very important that on the most local level, county to county, city to city. I think that Alabama needs to start voting on their freaking chief of police.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think that it's a political position.
What the mayor appoints.
The mayor appoints, yes, which is bullcrap. Because the mayor. We don't need to talk about it.
Imagine in a hypothetical situation if the mayor was corrupt.
I have real estate in
everything below that would.
I have real estate in this city.
Well, I'm not talking about this city in particular. I'm just saying.
Well, I can't give my opinion on other cities. All I can do is talk about this city. In other cities, hypothetically, mayors spend money like Caesar in Rome on the Colosseum to make their subjects continue to vote them in. And so they give them nice fancy restaurants and flowers along the downtown and new sidewalks and fancy over the top
I wasn't going to go that
stoplights
deep.
And stuff like that, you know? And so your general population who just like, oh, geez, sure is nice around here, hey? I'm really leaning into that. It's coming out really well though. Like so people are like, oh, it's so nice around here. Look at everything. But it's not. There's a lot of debt involved because the thing about it is governments don't spend well. I mean, walk around your city. This is a whole nother segment. Anyways, this is a whole nother segment. We're going to move on to other stories. That wasn't even in here. We weren't even supposed to talk about that, but freaking who cares? Devin said something I think is what started it, and it pissed me off, and I ran with it. So,
I pissed you off?
No. What the thing that you said made me thinking, and then I got pissed on my thoughts, and then Anyways, talk about the sheriff's thing real quick. Not a whole lot to talk about. They have an annual meeting. They had a meeting. DOJ, FBI, all this good stuff. Meet with the sheriffs in D.C. They talk about potential scenarios and stuff like that. Just kind of keep them up to loop on things, potential threats to America, whatever. So there was a sheriff out of Butler County, Ohio. He said that he did a press conference a couple days after, just went over what they talked about. So they talked about different scenarios, said that they're having more red flags now than back when 9/11 was happening, which, obviously, of course right. You're having, like everybody we're letting across the border. I was like, freaking, of course, you're having more red flags than ever. But anyways, they were talking about, potential EMPs and more like a widespread attacks, like down even to local levels and stuff. And they were talking about how the sheriffs will be the local police will be the first line of defense, and that's why I think we definitely need more police, not less police, more local police, not state police. Just throw that in there. I'm gonna beat that horse. And they need to be armed. Like we need police locally that have training. We need them to have weapons. We need them to know how to use those weapons and to know when to use those weapons. We need proper training. I think that speaking on police, the whole Black Lives Matter movement really effed up with the stuff that they were pushing. It's not defund the police. It's like if you think there's a problem within the police, then let's try to walk hand in hand with them and fix it. I think definitely when you have a department that you can come in as a police officer, go through the academy, 185 pounds, lean, mean muscle, then 3 years on the job, you're 285 pounds. You couldn't possibly even go through the small amount of training that they give you at the academy. And then guess what? You're shooting people because you're too fat to freaking catch them if they ran. You couldn't tango with them if they wanted to fight. So I think what we need with police departments is we need manual training. We need yearly qualifying. Just like they qualify, they qualify with a firearm, which they should. They need to know how to shoot. They got to shoot. Yeah. I don't know, what is it, 80%, or they got to shoot so many. They've got to pass with their firearm. That's great. They should also have to, jog up a hill for a minute. They should do something because they can't. They can't. There's so many cops. They can't, bro. And not even just the fat cops. There are skinny cops who ain't worth a freaking piss. They've got no cardio. They've got no muscle. They've got no skills. Like, we should teach, ground and pound, jiu-jitsu. We should teach them something, bro. Because what they go through in the academy is nothing. It gives them a taste, obviously. But what they go through academy is nothing. And you get people that come out of there, whether they're in good shape or not, and they just don't know much about nothing. And it's the same thing with other industries. You talk to anybody. Like, I'm a licensed real estate agent. I went and learned real estate, and bro, I came out of there not knowing nothing. They didn't even go over what the difference between a craftsman and a colonial and a ranch style house is. Like, I don't even know. Craftsman's got a front porch with a little bit of arch, and like a ranch is kind of long, I reckon. I don't know. Like, it doesn't matter. They didn't teach me, which is why you have so many bad real estate agents, and 8 out of 10 real estate agents is bad, yo. They are bad. Really bad. You just don't even know how bad they are. You ever buy a house from somebody and you're just like, man, I like the house, but something nasty about that experience. Just, I don't know what it was. It's your real estate agent. They suck. They're not on your side. They about making that commission, which is bullcrap anyways. I'm a licensed real estate agent, bro. Learn the freaking, sell your own house. Jesus, what's wrong with you? You ain't never posted something on Facebook Marketplace? Dang. Get a real estate attorney, figure that crap out, and sell your own house. The only reason for you to use a real estate agent is, what were we talking about again? The sheriffs? Anyways, I'm not even going to go on that. We're not even going to talk about that. This is enough. We got other stuff to record after getting with this dadgum podcast.
Yeah, I've got a lot of editing to do on this.
I like it. I like the brokenness of it, though.
Just
you know,
leave it.
yeah,
We'll just leave it.
Yeah, at least I'm not every 5 seconds. Devin, throw that up for me on the screen.
Oh,
yeah,
very
throw that
funny.
up on the screen.
Yeah,
Devin's
very
gonna throw.
funny.
We're gonna throw this up on the screen.
Yeah, very funny. I've said it 3 times.
So, anyways, the sheriff's thing. So, yeah, they went over all the potential scenarios and stuff like that. It was any scenario that you and your friends have sat down and been like, man, I wonder with all these, people coming from Afghanistan, I wonder if, there might be some terrorist cells in America and they might do something. Yeah. You think? Yeah. I mean, yeah. Duh. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it all seemed pretty legit. The sheriff is coming out and doing this, and I hate to hate on him because he's doing the right thing. He's trying to be prepared, but it's like, bro, we've been saying this for 100. We've been saying this since after 9/11. Like, folks are in our country, mean us harm, and they're gonna get together and do something. They're gonna call for what is it? The jihad. They're going to call for a day of jihad again. And folks just going to come out the woodworks. All right?
Imagine at this point how entwined they are with us.
Oh, yeah.
There's, over the past couple years, there's been however many million people that have come across the border, but who do we not know? Who's coming over before then? Who...
No, I agree. But I mean, the fact that he had to have a press conference and say, "Oh, I learned this in Washington." You know what I mean? And again, I'm not trying to hate on him. He's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to look into new technologies. Go watch the press conference. It's not that long. Like it's like
I actually watched it. Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, it's like 20 minutes or so. And I mean, he goes through all kinds of stuff. But I mean, he's acting as if this is brand spanking new news. Like everybody in his county's like, we've known this forever. Thank God you're doing something about it, but we've known it forever. I'd like to see.
I think the big news is that the FBI and the other agencies were saying that there are far more red flags now than there were before.
But that's not
9/11.
really news, because what I'm saying is like there could not be as many people that's come through. Yeah. So of course there's more
it's just
red
being
flags.
Validated.
I guess.
Then they're saying, they told him as well that the local government is going to be who has to deal with everything, and you're not going to be able to call the government to ask them for help because the federal government, because they're going to be dealing with other things.
Yeah, no,
at that time. So
and that's news. I mean, yeah, I mean, like people need to but I mean, if you're a citizen in this country, especially if you're in a state that has like you can own a firearm of any kind, and you don't own a firearm of any kind, then like don't bother your neighbor down the road who does have guns trying to protect his family, saying, "Can you protect us too?" Like, get off your A and at least go buy a BB gun or something. Like, keep it up in the attic if you're afraid of it. Keep it pieced out in parts all across the house. I don't freaking care if you don't like it. But when the stuff hits the fan and you've got nothing, deal with it. Go all Liam Neeson on their tail and take their gun and then shoot them, and then you got a gun. I mean, if you're Liam Neeson, then you just don't worry about having a gun. You'll just take it from somebody when it hits the fan. That's fine. I am not Liam Neeson. He's a tall man, I think. I think he's a pretty tall man.
Really?
I'm 5'11" on a good day. So, anyways, done with that. Now, I wanted to talk about how to start a business. We're just going to throw some stuff out there. Not in any particular order necessarily, but I want to encourage people, man. Like, I've started a bunch of businesses, started some by myself, started some with my dad. I hope to start some with some partners soon. And then we'll talk about, partnerships and stuff like that to people that aren't family, but I can talk to partnerships with family. But so many people have so many ideas out there, and there's so many needs in your city and your county. Don't be afraid to get out there and start something. I mean, we whenever we did Smash Mouth Foods, it was a food trailer. Like we didn't know nothing about it, man. We had to jump out there and do it. And of course, you're going to make some mistakes. Make them early. Make them as cheap as possible before you get to where you're making big, heavy, expensive mistakes. In any business, I would say, something we didn't do is we didn't do enough research, so we made way too many mistakes that we didn't have to make. Cost us a lot of cash flow up front. So start with find out as much as you can about said business. So I would look at if I wanted to start a business, whatever, and I tell you something I was looking at that was so cool. I was watching a trash can business, a pickup trash, and how to start that. I was watching a podcast a guy had. I wish I could remember his name, and he was talking about how he started like as a side hustle, bro. Like bought a 4,500 diesel truck and put like a small like 32 yard or whatever it was, like compact, thing that'll pick the cans up and flip them, and started selling freaking trash service at folks' house. Really, really, really cool. So I started looking into it. How much would it cost? All this, how many houses would I have to pick up? What would I have to charge? Is there any kind of services that I can provide that, my disposal service isn't already providing? Could I do that? Could I do it for less? Could I do it for slightly more? Could I do it for the same but give more service? And that's what you got to do. So you have an idea and test that idea based on what businesses are around you. So, are you going to dominate the market, or can you at least compete competitively in the market? And then like what makes yours. So if you're looking at a trash business, you want to get a trash truck. I don't know what they're called. Dumpster truck. What? Garbage truck. There you go. Jesus. So you want to get a garbage truck. I thought that was interesting. I wanted to look into it the other day or today. So I was looking into it. So you need to figure it out. Okay, well, how much does a garbage truck cost? I don't know, $150,000-ish maybe. I don't know, $80,000. Maybe you buy a used one for 50, 60, whatever. Okay, well, what would a reasonable monthly payment be? What would insurance be on that? What do I already have an LLC I can use, a corporation? How much does it cost to start one? Have you ever started one? Look into it. Go to LegalZoom. Talk to a lawyer. There's lots of ways you can do it. And then figure out, okay, like how much do you pay? Well, I pay $20 a month for my garbage. And they do nothing but pick up my garbage every Tuesday afternoon. And then sometimes they just decide, I'm not going to pick up your garbage. And we have to call them. And they'll either turn around and come back and get my garbage, or they just won't. And I didn't get my garbage picked up that week. So that's kind of what made me think of garbage. And I've got some national brand company that picks up mine. It's not a local deal. They're a big outfit. But anyways, so mine's $20 a month. Okay, well, I mean, if my payments and everything for insurance and a thing and a truck are, I don't know, $2,300 a month, then how many, $2,300 divided by 20? How many does it take to pay for it? And if that's, I don't know, 215 cans, okay, 215 cans. So that means that I need, 300 customers before I'm making any kind of money, really, and then how many would it take to hire somebody? You got to figure out how many cans can I pick up on my route with that particular truck. Do your research, figure it out, ask those questions. So you find a problem that's in your area. You find a problem, you create a solution, people pay you based on the value that you bring them. Like with our food trailer, people would pay me money because I fixed a problem. They were hungry and they wanted good food at a decent price. I gave that to them, so we had success. You can do that in any area. You can do insurance, you can do finance, you can do a service-based business, restaurant, whatever you want to do. So have an idea, test it out based on, does anybody doing that around me? Okay. And then, I would even go so far as to ask some people that friends, family, throw it on Facebook. Hey, if I was going to open up a garbage truck business, and I could match your prices and pick it up weekly, how many people would trade with me? How many people would think that's a good idea? Okay, great. And then you have something to base it off of. Nothing's going to be 100%, but I'm just trying to encourage you to take those steps to move forward towards some kind of a business. So, after doing all your research and having the money, be confident in yourself. What's happening, everybody? So, I'm in a different get up today. So same podcast, different day, what they say. So Well, we had a little bit of an emergency, family emergency, this last podcast. Right here, as we got started talking about how to start a business, which was like the main kind of focus on the podcast. So we had to cut it short. Everybody's okay. Everything's fine. Here we are. It's Sunday. We're going to go ahead and, record this whole how to start a business thing again. And so that's why I'm in a different getup. So here we go. We're going to jump right into it. I think that a lot of people are avoiding starting that business. A lot of people just don't know how to get started, where to go. Listen, I've started several businesses. I'm 30 years old. I know I get better with age. At 30 years old, and I started a lot of business in my life. Anything from sales to automotive to food and beverage to real estate. I've got my real estate license. Just loads of stuff. And anytime you do it, it's scary. So I wanted to go through just a few quick points to kind of point you in the right direction of where to start. Nothing's going to be I'm going to try to have an order, but I'm not good at orders. So we're going to go through it, put it where you need, where you think it needs to be in your mind as far as importance. Each business is going to be different. Obviously, you can't cover them all. I'll do a video talking about real estate, how to be a real estate agent, how to start a food trailer. I've got years of experience in automotive, different things like that. So we'll go through all those individually from what I know from my standpoint, but here's some things that I would recommend. Number one, I would recommend reading a book called Built to Sell by John Warlow. It's not that long of a book. Basically, Built to Sell is a concept where you look at your business from the standpoint of selling it. So at some point you'll sell your business, whether that's a year into it, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. What would somebody who wanted to buy your business be looking for? And then do those things. Figure it out. If your business is sellable, if somebody would want to buy it, then it's successful. Not everything necessarily, though, is successful. Do people want to buy? So there's two different judgments there. You can have a successful business that you work like a dog at, that you're a slave at, and who wants to buy a job? You know what I mean? So it's that kind of concept, basically, that he talks about. And he goes through this, let's say it was a design business or something like that. He did logos and different things like that. It's the specific business he talks about in there. But the principles work with pretty much every business. So you read that book, Built to Sell. You get an audio book. I thought it was a really, really interesting book. I read it. I have the book. And it was pretty good. It gave me a lot of ideas into Smash Mouth Foods whenever we were running that. And it kind of helped us get to the point of leasing those businesses out. And I don't think we could have done that successfully without taking the steps that were in that book and then looking really hard at our business and making some hard decisions. So number one, I think you have an idea, you test that idea. Are you the only business around? Are you looking to dominate? Or are you looking to just be competitive in that business? So if you have a garbage truck business or want to start one, I started looking into this the other day. If you have a garbage truck business, okay, let's figure out, like, are people happy with the service that they have? Are some people not able to be serviced? Are people not able to be serviced like their needs or have their needs met in that regard? What are the prices? Are they too high? Are they too low? Can you compete? Well, figure it out. Ask those questions. Ask your friends. Ask neighbors. Put it on Facebook. Hey, if I started this business, would you support me? If I could do it for X amount of dollars, and maybe see if you could add more services to that. I thought, like, with a garbage truck business, what if once every quarter they dropped off a brand new sanitized clean can? They took the old one back with them once a quarter, just had somebody come and do that. Is that feasible? Could you charge an extra couple bucks a month for that? Could you do it for the same price that everybody else is charging? Just a little thing, like once every 3 months, you're going to have a brand new or clean can. We're going to take your old one back. We'll clean it, come back, drop another one off in 3 months after that one's gotten dirty, because your garbage cans stank after a while. You know what I mean? So could you add something like that? And you could do that with so many different businesses. Look for those type of things. Now, obviously, you haven't started it. You don't know 100%, but you can ask those questions. You can look for those answers and try your best to answer them as you go along. You say, okay, I want to start a hair salon business. Well, every hair salon has this, this, and this, but I think that I can add such and such to mine. and do it with a great quality. Nobody else has that. And because of that, I think I can have X amount of business coming in extra because of that. So basically, run through why you should start this business. What kind of service can you provide? And will people appreciate that service enough to do business with you, to patronize you and your business with that? So, and then find out as much as you can about said business. Kind of goes into the first thing. But like I said, if you were starting a garbage truck company, how much do the cans cost? Where can you buy those cans? Do you logo them? How much does it cost to logo one? How many do you have to buy at a time? What kind of capital does it take? What kind of truck do you need? You don't want to buy too big. You're just starting out, can't afford it. You don't want to buy too small, and then you end up being screwed. You're a couple months into it, and you have to upgrade. Now you have all this negative equity, and you're losing, money for this extra truck that you can't use anymore. You're making too many stops. It's cutting into your profit. Yada, yada, yada. So find out as much as you can about that. I would say if I was starting a garbage truck business, how many stops can I make? How many full trash cans can I haul in that one truck before I have to go dump? What is the average mileage per gallon on that vehicle? What would that cost? What would the insurance cost for something like that? That kind of thing. Figure out as much as you can. Talk to people in the industry. If you can't find someone locally that may not want to share that stuff, reach out to someone a state or 2 states away. Just Google a little bit, independent garbage truck company or whatever it is you're wanting to start. Ask them. More than likely, if you can get a hold of the business owner, they love sharing that kind of stuff. People love talking. Information freely gained is information freely given. People who go through this school of hard knocks, in some cases, they don't want to see other people go through that, especially if you're not direct competition. So reach out, learn as much as you can about it. That's number 2. Number 1 was have an idea and test that theory. Test that idea out. So 1 and 2 done. Number 3, I would say start somewhere, whether it's starting that LLC or corporation. And that's another thing. Figure out which one you need, what kind of structure you need based on the business and industry that you're going in. Be confident in yourself and what you've learned from books, from podcasts, from speaking with others, from the polls that you've taken on Facebook, the people that you've spoken to, and put action to your words. Like start something. Oh man, what was his name? Justin something. I want to say who he was. He's got a construction company out of Louisiana. I can't remember his name, but he's big buddies with the Tates. He said that he does something called MINS, is most important next step. I think I'm quoting the right guy. Doesn't matter. It's very important. MINS, most important next steps. So if you say, oh, I want to start this business. Oh, I want to meet this girl. Oh, I want to do this. What's your most important next step that you can do right now? Something small. Well, I can watch a podcast about how to start that particular business, or I could Google a couple of garbage trucks, figure out how much they would cost, and maybe learn a little bit more about it. So most important next steps, figure that out, take some action to that. And a quote that I have it on my desktop computer at all times. I'm sure he's not the first one to say it, but this particular quote was from Grant Cardone, which says, adding time to a decision won't make you more confident. So once you've done the research and you know where you're going and what you're doing as much as you reasonably can at that point in time, then time is to make a decision. Do something. And so I try and live by that. I try and make decisions. Once I've done the research and everything, that's enough time taken. Let's make the decision. Let's move forward. And then another quote I like is Jim Rohn. He said, there's one guarantee to life. You won't make it out alive. So don't take your ideas to the graveyard, man. Somebody said at some point, I can't remember who it was, they said the wealthiest place is the graveyard. So many ideas, so many businesses not started, so many things not jumped into, not spoken, not done. They take it to the graves. For whatever reason, scared, maybe not the right time, maybe don't know the right people. You can change those things. Figure it out. Doesn't matter your age. Let's figure out something that you can do, because this country was built on mom and pops, man, on starting business, entrepreneurship. It's something we're missing nowadays. We're missing people getting out there, starting their own business, working hard, building something, selling it, having something to give their kids. We're focused on a lot of crap that we don't need to be focused on. And we're not going to go into politics. I want to stay right into business, but it ties into a lot of that. There's a lot of crap going around in this country, just overall. And it's taken the wind out of the sails of being an entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur, being, someone who's going to get out there and do something, build something. Maybe that's not you. This is another video, but you might be someone who's a number 2 guy, number 3 guy, number 4 guy, whatever the case. But if you've got, this is speaking specifically to the person who wants to start a business, who wants to do something with their life, wants to put their name and reputation on something. It's an awesome, awesome feeling once you built something up, whether it's uber successful or just, maintains, and it's yours. You did it. You built it. Nobody else did that. As Obama famously said, you didn't build that. You built that. You did. You built that. And you should be proud about that. So number 4, I would say be teachable and adapt. When we started our food trailers, we made a lot of bad decisions. We tried to learn. We didn't know anybody in the industry. So you make those decisions. You say, oh, that was a bad decision. I'm going to do differently. You add that specific topping, you add this thing to the menu, and people are like, I don't really like it, or, maybe it's not the right kind of value. You adapt, you move. You don't stick with one thing if it's not working or if something could be better. Don't be afraid to change and move and shift, all that good stuff. And so that just rounds it back up to number 5 was be sellable. I think I made that one, but number 5 I wrote down was be sellable. John Warlow, Built to Sell. If you have a business, if you're thinking about starting a business, I would definitely recommend you read that book. But that's going to be it, man. I mean, we could go so much more in depth into this, and I want to talk about my real estate. I want to talk about my food trailers. I want to talk about leasing out some of my businesses, ice cream parlor. I've got some other stuff. I want to go into all that stuff. It'll be its own video specifically for each thing because, content. But I just want everyone to find some kind of encouragement when it comes to starting that business. I'm telling you, man, it's an amazing feeling to sit here and have something that you built from the ground up, to see it grow and go into something else. And let me tell you what's an even more amazing feeling of fulfillment is when you see the business that you didn't know you were going to survive, you didn't know you were going to make it, and then you see someone else take the reins and continue on, and now other people are making money. And it's something fulfilling about that. Not everybody's built for that kind of stuff. I get it. Not everybody's built to go to sleep not knowing if they're going to make these sales or have this right here and they've got 5 people on payroll who depend on them for that job. That's a lot of pressure. And you go to sleep with that and you wake up with that and you have to figure out, can I deal with that? Can I live with that? If you can't, it's no problem. Start a business where you don't need employees. If you can't deal with all the other stuff, no problem. Be a number 2 guy, girl. Be a number 3. Be a number 4. Go find somebody that you can add value to their business. But at the end of the day, you can have a weekend off and go golf or do something like that. Because starting a business, unless you just hit the ground running and you're just uber successful, like, money. And even then you're going to be working like crazy. It's not something you just like, yeah, I'm going to, start this business and do great. And in 6 months, I'm going to be, off every weekend or whatever. No, they're calling you. The buck stops with you until you can build it up and have those processes and procedures in place where you have, your CEO, you have your general managers, regional managers, depending on what kind of business you're in. Maybe it's more local. Maybe it's just a manager, employees that know things that can have problems come up and then deal with them without you. You're going to get the phone calls. You're going to have to deal with the crap. So anyways, start that business. Let me encourage you to do that. If you have any questions, reach out to us, comment what business you were thinking about starting. Maybe it's a good business and I'll just do it before you do it and steal it from you. But because you won't do it. No, do it for real. Like, comment down below if you have an idea for a business. You don't have to say what it is. Look, I've got this idea. I was thinking about going into maybe this type of industry. Do you have any ideas about this? Do you have a comment about that? I'll reach out to you. Hit us up on our website, realcapitalpodcast.com. Subscribe, like our YouTube, our Facebook. We got TikTok going on, about to throw some TikToks up there. We've got Instagram. We're going to start doing some some gramming, do it for the gram type stuff. So we're excited. We're still moving up. We're still looking for some guests. As we get better and better with these things, man, I want to reach out to some more people and get some better guests in here. I don't want to do that. I say better guests. I mean, I've had my dad and Devin. That's nothing against them. But some big name people that are out there, but I don't want to do that until we get some kind of a groove, some kind of an idea of what we are and what this podcast is going to be. So I appreciate you guys watching. Always like, share, subscribe. Hit us up on Rumble. And
that I cheat. I don't want to tell them that I got it with no proof. I would rather show them the receipts. I find it funny how they say you got to talk less and do more.
Go work out when the kids go to bed at 10 o'clock at night. You work out for 30 minutes. You come home, you get a shower, you make love, you go to bed. That's what you do.